Thank you for watching and reading. This is the first time I actually do a video with the book reports. Every month I share 4 books that I like out of the 8 that I read, the 4 that I most recommend. So, and this is the first time I actually do a video because I usually just put in the 4 pictures, 4 books, and all the details below. So if you scroll down, you're gonna see the details about the books. This month I tried to keep it short. Last month it was very long. We have a couple hundred subscribers who read it, and they said they love it, and lots of them love to get into details, but they want it quicker because we live in a fast-paced world, so we have to cut it a little short. So this month there are 4 books that I read. You can see them all below, but my absolute favorite was High Output Management by Andrew Grove, and the cool reason why I want to bring him up, he unfortunately passed away, I believe 2-3 years ago. He was he was the first employee of Intel, by the way, and he's one of the founders. So, and he eventually became the CEO, and he built this amazing company basically from nothing. He came in from Budapest, Hungary, that's where I'm from, and came to the US, New York. He didn't speak English, didn't have any money, and then eventually he became one of the leaders in Silicon Valley. And not to mention, he also coached Steve Jobs. So the reason I wanted to get into a little details with this, because I highly recommend that you pick a mentor that you like, you look up to, and you want to become. Read the books that they read the books that they wrote, and then on top of that, especially study the people that they learned from, or they also studied and read from. So, for example, as him being Steve Jobs' coach, I really wanted to learn about him and what he did, because Steve Jobs was horrible at the beginning. And as most of you know, there's some argument if he was fired or not, but he was, let's say, let go from Apple, his own company. He started Next, which was, let's just say it wasn't that successful, but then the point is, and then Pixel. But all those companies had huge issues all the way through until he became who he was about 10 years after, when he returned as the amazing CEO and the amazing person who changed our world forever at Apple. So my point is that there's another book that I read this month, which is below, Becoming Steve Jobs. That's also an absolutely amazing book, and I highly recommend to read that book and this book back to back, because you will understand a little bit more. My point is that that book also talks about Andrew and how he coached Steve Jobs, and how Steve Jobs was really bad for the first 10 years, and it took him about 10 years to become the person who he became. So it's amazing to learn from these amazing people and what they went through, so they finally became the person that we actually remember them for. Anyways, so this book, you're gonna learn basically everything that you can imagine about management from a person who built the company. Then he completely reorganized the company because they are stopped doing what they were doing, and completely from one section that they were working at went to a completely different section and became who they are today. So anyways, amazing book, pick it up, and then also pick up the one below about Steve Jobs, because if you want to learn really what he went through and what he learned and who he learned from, you will find out all the details from Becoming Steve Jobs book, and then you will understand that he did not born the person that he died. So my point is, he went through all those things to become that amazing leader who he became. Anyways, thank you, and check out the reports, and let me know what you think.